Hello, everybody. I'm Jim Garrison. I'm the president of Ubiquity University, and I want to welcome you to this information session on Birdie Jaworski's work and transdimensional mapping. Before Birdie comes on, I just want to take a moment to describe our program so that everybody's on the same page. Ubiquity University and Transdimensional Mapping, founded by Birdie, have partnered together to create the extraterrestrial studies program, leading to a certification in transdimensional mapping, and which is Birdie's technique for remote viewing, and also master's and PhD degrees in ET studies. There are very, very few programs anywhere in the world that focus on this. My understanding is that Ubiquity University is the only university out there that has developed a graduate program explicitly on extraterrestrial studies. We believe that disclosure is underway. The cat is out of the bag. There is zero doubt that non-human intelligences exist on planet Earth, and therefore the principal challenge for us humans in this moment is to learn who these beings are and the techniques for intelligible communication. And that's why we're so privileged and honored to be in partnership with Birdie Jaworski and Transdimensional Mapping. So we're happy to answer any questions that you might have. Birdie will come on now and talk about the specifics of the course and the program coming up. We'll talk about transdimensional mapping generally, and anything that you want to know about how to register or the pricing or what it takes to do an academic degree. But this is a breakthrough innovation in academia, learning how to engage through remote viewing and other mechanisms of mental clairvoyance, communication with our cosmic neighbors. So thank you for joining. Birdie?
Hey, everybody. I'm so glad to be here today. I am assuming that at least a number of you have taken our January class, our introduction to transdimensional mapping. Transdimensional mapping, if you're not familiar, is my method of remote viewing. I developed this over the past 23 years. And before that, for 9 years, I was in the field of remote viewing, practicing a derivative of the military method, CRV, controlled remote viewing. And then I worked on my own method, which incorporates a lot of interesting research in how our brain works and how the hemispheres of our brain works, and a lot of research into linguistics, because the way we tell stories about our experiences actually fundamentally describes what we do when we remote view. And I spent this last week, actually, this is pretty interesting, guys. So last week, I spent 8 days with an incredible group of people. I was out in Charlottesville, Virginia, and I was at the Division of Perceptual Studies at the University of Virginia, which is the #1 parapsychology lab in the world. These people are doing deep research into all kinds of things that we are capable of, including out-of-body experiences, near-death experiences, reincarnation that children report, sleep paralysis. They're doing incredible research. And one of the areas of research that they are involved in is remote viewing. They have done a number of studies with remote viewers going back to the military remote viewers. And after I gave several presentations to different researchers there, including a couple of short workshops to give them a little flavor of what my system is like. And they all told me, every single researcher told me, that what we are doing with transdimensional mapping here at Ubiquity University is absolutely the next level of remote viewing. This is it. What we're doing is like the cutting edge in remote viewing. Absolutely. So I'm super excited to be able to talk to you about our program going forward. If you haven't taken the January class, get in there and take it right away. It's a 5-day class, 40 hours, and you get to remote view a number of super cool things. Every single thing that you remote view the first 4 days of the class are completely veridical experiences, verifiable experiences. So you can compare what you get to the photographs or the description of the event or the person, place, or thing. And I talk about how you can analyze your data. I teach all kinds of techniques in the beginning class to allow you to access anything, anytime, any place. And the last day of class is our ET communication day, where we actually learn how to extend our consciousness into the cosmos and have a conversation with any particular species that is willing to talk with us. It's an amazing, amazing class, and it will change your life, seriously change your life. And what I'm doing going forward is I'm offering all of my advanced techniques through Ubiquity University. These techniques, so the class that's coming up in May is Advanced Transdimensional Mapping. In this class, I have never taught this to a single soul on this planet. You guys will be the first people. I'm serious. I'm very serious. The very first people to learn these advanced remote viewing techniques. Nobody is doing anything like what I'm doing in the field. And what you're going to learn in this class is going to be something that's never been heard of or practiced by anyone. We're going to learn how to layer maps using tracing paper so that you can build up an experience. We're going to be working with 3D modeling with clay or Play-Doh, whatever you like, so we can start to experience using our bodies to get a flavor of what's happening at the experience, the target, if you will. And so this class is going to teach a number of these advanced techniques. It's the first time, like I said, that I will ever be teaching these techniques. So you're going to be in on the ground floor, the very first people on this planet to learn what it is that I have been developing over the past 23 years. And subsequent classes will also have, these are also completely new techniques. In September, we are offering the technology transfer class. This class is unprecedented. Nobody is doing this in remote viewing. What we're going to learn how to do is to actually recreate blueprints, engineering drawings, architectural drawings, even get into some math, perhaps, if you are math-minded, algorithms and such. This is a class where you were going to actually be able to reverse engineer non-human intelligence technology or look at future technologies. Maybe you work in an area of scientific inquiry and you're working on a project and you're having some trouble figuring out how to get from point A to point B. This class will help you solve that problem. We're going to look at all kinds of interesting things, and you don't necessarily have to have a scientific or mathematics background to do this work. I'm going to teach you how to get this information, whether you understand it or not. And then the following classes after technology transfer, we have a class in what I call time leveling. And this is a class where we're going to explore different timelines, different dimensions. We're going to understand and be able to access information regardless of where and when we are. And we'll be able to accurately predict and determine exactly where we are and when we are, when we're experiencing, when we're at the target. We're going to be able to accurately predict this. I've already taught a little bit of this in my deconstruction classes, but this is going to be a 5-day intensive on how to place yourself in time and space, regardless of dimension. It's going to be like the coolest class ever. And then the following class is our advanced ET communications techniques. And this is where we are going to have super in-depth conversations with a number of ET species, all ones that are friendly to humanity. There are a number of them. Some of these live way on the other side of our universe and have never visited Earth, but they are super interested in us because we have been extending our consciousness. As we evolve as a species, different places out in the universe are starting to get to know us. They're starting to understand who humanity is. We are still kind of babies in this area, but we are coming into our own. So the communications class is going to be off the chain. It's going to be really cool. So if you have any questions about anything having to do with transdimensional mapping or any of the classes coming up, Ubiquity University, guys, all my classes are being done through Ubiquity. So this is where you're going to get your information. So bring on the questions, gang.
Thank you, Birdie, and welcome again, everyone. If you've got a question, you can write it in the chat or the Q&A. And you can ask about Ubiquity University, more about TDM, Birdie's background, what's going to be in the various courses, pricing, certifications, whatever you would like to know about.
Yeah, guys, like I said, this is what I'm teaching right now is what I have worked on for 23 years behind the scenes, because if you look at the field of remote viewing over the past 30 years since it was declassified, since the Stargate program in 1995, the government admitted that they had trained soldiers to become psychic spies. If you look at the field in that time, there have been zero developments in this field other than what I have done. Zero, literally zero. They're still teaching the exact same military method from 30 years ago. However, research has marched on, right? Research into how our brain works, into linguistics, into all these kind of areas continues to advance. And so I've taken all of this new research and incorporated it into what I do. So what you're going to be getting through Ubiquity is like, seriously, it's seriously the best of the best. So come along for the
Norma
ride.
Estrella, Birdie, asking about the dates again. When is the date of this next course?
The next course, let me go to my calendar here, is May.
May 14th through
May
18th.
14th through the 18th. It is a Wednesday through Sunday. It is a 40-hour class. You will be doing a lot of hands-on work, just like you did in the January class. But this is going to be at an advanced level. So get some practice in before this class, guys. You're going to want to have that practice so that you have all the original techniques down, because we're going to expand on these. And we're going to be looking at super interesting things in this class. We're not going to keep it completely at the level of the veridical. We're going to be actually examining things that you guys can figure out going forward. We're going to look at different ET civilizations. We're going to look at mysteries in our ancient history that science has not been able to answer. This is going to be a 5-day program of discovery in addition to learning new techniques. It's going to be super cool, super cool.
Now, John Paul Patterson, Birdie, is asking any possibility for a checkout coupon for continuing Ubiquity Mapping Maverick students.
Okay, I am not in charge of
Georg, what are the Ubiquity Mapping Mavericks?
Okay, Mapping Mavericks is my ongoing student.
Yeah, that's what I thought. They're your students, right?
Yes, these are my students. These are the students who are coming along for the ride with me. Some of them are in our operational groups, and they're all practicing to be in Mapping Mavericks. If you guys haven't joined yet and you've taken the January class, you are absolutely welcome to join. The requirements are that you have to do one mapping session a week. That's the only requirement, and you post it. We have hundreds of homework sessions available for you to engage in. We have wildly esoteric sessions where you're going to be communicating with ETs, and we have real life projects happening. Mapping Mavericks, This is actually super fascinating, guys. So every month we do a group project that everyone participates in if they wish, and you do your remote viewing, you do your map, and you post it. And at the end of the month, I reveal what it is. These are all real life questions or situations. A couple months ago in Mapping Mavericks, our group project was looking at a missing woman in northwestern New Mexico. The Jicarilla Apache Reservation, Native Americans, their tribal police reached out to me. I've worked with them before on another case successfully. And they had a missing woman, young woman, and they believe that her boyfriend killed her and dumped the body. And they're trying to get closure for the family. And so they asked if my group would look into this. So that was one of our group projects. We're doing real life work. In fact, the data that all of you guys got, everybody who had taken the January class was involved in this, in Join Mavericks. The data that my students got, actually, the tribal police were blown away because we got details that were never released to the public at all. And so doing an analysis of everyone's work, I was able to determine on Google Maps the most likely area that this woman's body is. And they are going out in like a week or two, and I'm going to be going out with them to go to that location to find the body. I've done this before very successfully. This is what I do. So guys, if you haven't joined Mapping Mavericks, get in. It's free. It's totally free. This is like, I am subsidizing everything for this because I really want everybody to be on board and to be developing themselves to a high degree. We're doing really cool stuff. Things like that. Things like looking for missing people. We are actually having conversations with all kinds of ET civilizations out there, and we are developing, actually, in Mapping Mavericks, kind of a catalog of the different species out there, where they're from, what kinds of things they're interested in. This is all research no one else is doing, and it's all kind of private right now on Mavericks, but if you want to join, send me an email and I'll get you set up. But you have to do one session a week. That is the requirement. If you don't, you're out. And I have kicked people out.
You run a tight ship, Ms. Jaworski.
I do. It's like, hey, this is free. I'm putting my time, energy, and money into this. So you've got to do your one session a week to float.
So in order to join, you just send Birdie Jaworski, an email.
Yeah, just send me an email. I'm going to go ahead and type my email in the comments here for everybody. Make sure I'm sending this to everyone. Just go ahead and send me an email. Now, you have to have taken the beginning 5-day class to join. And so, if you've taken the January class, by all means, let me know and I'll let you in. And if you haven't taken it yet, get in there. It's available right now. Come on. Don't you want to like travel the world with your mind?
Pat Bradley's asking whether the intensives will be recorded. Yes, Pat, everything's recorded, and it's uploaded almost immediately after the course. So if you miss a day, we know that 8 hours a day over 5 days can be a scheduling challenge for all of us, actually. Yes, everything is archived and made available so that you can watch whatever you miss anytime you would like. Would the certification work for international students? What will the price of the course be? The certification works for anybody anywhere in the world. And you do the January 2025 course, then in May, September, and then January 2026 and May 2026, you'll complete the 5 courses, 5 days, 8 hours a day, and then you get a certification in transdimensional mapping as a remote viewer.
And guys, what you're going to be learning in those classes is literally everything that I know and that I've developed. It's literally everything. You're getting a download from my brain, essentially. So if you take the 5 classes, you're going to know as much as I do. So
yeah. We priced the first one at $399, and Then moving forward, we've priced each one of those courses at $7.99 for a full 5 days, 8 hours a day, which is as inexpensive as any remote viewing course you can take anywhere in the world.
And the other thing too, in the past 30 years that remote viewing has been out in the public, one of the reasons that so few people have even learned to become remote viewers is because of the prohibitive cost. Now, back in the day, over 25 years ago when I was in the field, I made my classes super affordable then. I was charging next to nothing or giving them away for free, but most of the people are actually everybody in the field charges a lot of money. So to take a 40-hour class with anyone else, you're going to be looking in excess of $3,000-$4,000 for a beginning class, not even the advanced classes. And they don't even have really advanced classes. They may teach a few more things, but what I'm offering is something that is really cool, super cool. So this is it's a deal. I know it's expensive, but it's a deal regardless.
Are there any other prerequisites? This is from Laura Malachi Cotton. Are there any other prerequisites for the advanced class after the beginner class? The answer is no, right?
Malachi is in Mapping Mavericks, and she is incredible. Her maps are gorgeous. Guys, I'm going to brag on Malachi right now. Her stuff is amazing. Amazing. You've got to look at her maps. Super cool. Amazing. She is understanding her subconscious mind. She is really able to figure out all the elements in her maps and have an incredible experience. So A+ Malachi. But yeah, the only requirement you need for the advanced class is having taken the beginner class. Now, this is highly recommended, but not a requirement. It's highly recommended that you have done around 30 maps, 30 sessions after taking the initial class before taking the advanced class. And this is only because taking this on as a practice is going to cement all of those foundational methods that I taught, all the foundational techniques. So it's important to actually, you don't want to just take a class and then do nothing and then take the advanced class. I mean, that's kind of silly, right? So you want to practice it first. So practicing is not a requirement, but it is recommended. The other thing that's been recommended, and this is on the website, is to take a class in deconstruction. If you take the class, you understand what I mean by deconstruction. Deconstruction is one of and this is what was blowing away all those researchers at the University of Virginia, all these like high-level PhD guys and women. They were blown away by this approach, by understanding how we relay experience, all those layers that can happen in a session. So you might think that you're getting a particular thing, but the target is something else, right? But all of the reasons why you thought it was X are all relevant reasons. And so I teach a class in deconstruction, and I'm actually talking with Jim about making that part of the Ubiquity program, because like half of the guys that took the January class have already taken deconstruction, which is actually super cool. So anyway, so that's recommended too. So it's recommended that you practice and that you've had the deconstruction, but they're not requirements. The only requirement is that you've had the initial beginning class, whether it was one of my initial classes before partnering with Ubiquity or the January class. Either way. And going forward, all of my classes are going to be done through Ubiquity because I love Jim.
We love Birdie. She's the best of the best, everybody. And that's what it's going to take to get remote viewing out into the general population.
Yes.
As a legitimate discipline of refining consciousness. So we'll have more about that. But Erica Rowe is asking you to say more about the technology transfer course. What's going to be covered in the 5 days?
Okay, Erica is another member of Mapping Mavericks, and oh my gosh, her stuff is off the chain. It is absolutely incredible. Guys, you've got to see Eriko's maps, and the way that she talks about her process is absolutely beautiful. She understands her mind. She's also sharing this with others across the world, which is actually super cool. And so we've talked about that. Her work is absolutely amazing. So the technology transfer class is going to involve very different techniques from the mapping that most of you have already learned. It is going, and so if you're doing a technology transfer session, the way you approach it is you first do a standard mapping session to kind of orient yourself. And when you feel you are oriented after doing 1 or 2 maps, perhaps, then you move to technology transfer. And you're going to use different tools. You're going to be using things like rulers, protractors, compasses, and you're going to actually be able to produce blueprints or engineering drawings or mathematics. If this is a math question, we're going to look at all these different kinds of things. Now, you don't have to have a background in engineering or mathematics to be able to do this. That's the amazing thing about this, about using our inner selves here, our psychic minds. We understand it, even if we don't understand it in the real world, we still understand it on a deep level, and we're able to reproduce it. Now, I am a geek, self-admittedly, have degrees in computer science and digital forensics, and currently working on a PhD in AI. So yeah, yeah, I do understand all this stuff, but you don't have to be able to do this. It's going to be amazing. I haven't shown any of my work in this area online because I've been keeping it a little secret, because I don't want the other remote viewing groups kind of stealing what we're doing here. But so it's going to be something that we talk about, in this class. Is going to be amazing. But you're going to be able to, so say you have like say there is a, let's consider the Tic Tac UFO. Everybody knows about the Tic Tac. David Fravor and others, they saw the Tic Tac. The Navy pilots saw the Tic Tac. They described it. It was captured in imagery, right? What makes the Tic Tac tick, right? What actually is involved in this technology? You can do a technology, and I have done this already. You can do a technology transfer session on the Tic Tac with that intention in mind, and actually map out literally what the skin of the Tic Tac is, what the technology that is propelling this Tic Tac, how it works. You will get the actual blueprints of the Tic Tac when you do a technology transfer session. The cool thing about technology transfer is that it works on ancient technologies too, not just futuristic NHI technologies. You can look way back in the past. You can look at one of the coolest sessions I have ever done was on the origination of the pyramids in Egypt, the Great Pyramid at Giza, right? It's a big mystery how that thing was put together. Those stones were enormous. How did they move them from so many miles away? How did they move this stuff? How did they put it into place? The precision that the pyramids were built with, we cannot mimic this technology today. So how are these things built? I've done a technology transfer session on this, and you can find these kinds of things out too. So that's what we're going to be looking at in the technology transfer class.
Amazing. By the way, just as an aside, what did you find out?
Oh, okay, guys, everyone says, oh, it's aliens. Yeah, it was aliens. We had ET help. We had ET help. We had non-human intelligence, ETs, essentially, that had been working with humanity for some time at that point. I actually have I'm going to be talking about this at some point. I've got to write this up for everybody because I've done so much stuff in the past 23 years that is like still in my head, but not out in the world. But there were definitely, the pyramids were built for what I call deep time. This was intended to be a resonator that lasts through all of humanity. The pyramids have been here for way longer than originally thought, right? That this research is already coming into existence. These are very, 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 very old. And it's going to be here throughout the rest of humanity's existence. And it's a resonator. It's a communications device that is constantly sending information, but it's sending information in such a way that we're not able to, it's almost psychic information. This is like a transformative information transmittal system. It's pretty remarkable. There actually is non-human intelligence, an ET essentially, that actually resides way deep inside this, that has been there for all of this time and is still there. Yep. Pretty cool.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Now, people are also asking about the dates for the classes 3 through 5. It'll probably be in late September. We're doing the 3rd week of May, and then it'll probably be the 3rd week of September, 2025, and then the 3rd week of January 26, and then the 3rd week of May 2026.
The dates
trying to
all
keep it as
set, Jim. I
predictable
just
as-
dropped the link here in the
Oh, good.
chat, so it's all been decided. People can jump to the website
Oh,
and
cool.
see.
I better check that out and put them in my calendar.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, thanks. Georg is amazing, guys. Georg is amazing. He manages all of this back end stuff for us so that we're able to have these incredible encounters with each other. So, yay, Georg. Thank you.
Yeah, Georg is the best.
He is the best.
As you all know, if technology works, nobody thinks about it. But as soon as it doesn't, that's all they want to talk about. Well, good. How many students will be in the class coming up? I don't know the answer to that. Maybe Georg knows, but we can get that information to you.
I think from what I understand, we have around 27 students signed up for this class as far as a couple days ago. So it's a nice, intimate number. I think it's going to be amazing. Guys, it's going to be amazing. I promise you a transformative experience. You're going to have, I'll give you lots of feedback. We're going to all do work together. And on the, okay, so for this class, this is something new. On the very last day, we're going to map together. I'm going to map too. I'm going to do a session with you. We're going to do the last session double blind. We're going to have someone else from out there. Maybe we'll pick Jim. We'll pick somebody to come up with something for us to look at. And I'm going to do it with you because one of the things that I have been working on with my Mapping Mavericks group, and we just did our first experience with this last week, is doing these group mappings together, group remote viewing together, where we all do it at the same time over Zoom. We're doing this now in Mapping Mavericks, and we're seeing this incredible coherence in data that is, it's amazing. It's amazing. We, last week, we all mapped together. I did too, was double blind, so I didn't know what it was. And Jen was over my house and we were all doing it together. And it ended up being these floods in China in the 1930s. So something I'd never even heard of before. But almost every single person, there were about 50 of us who participated in this, almost every single person got the huge floods, got the water, got the devastation, got the destruction, the lives lost. It was absolutely amazing. So we're going to do that on the last day of class, something like that. So we'll find somebody like Jim to come up with something cool for us
I'll
to look
volunteer.
at. Okay, Jim, you were on. Jim is going to find something for us to look at, and I won't know what it is. You won't know what it is, but we're going to do it together, and you can watch me do it on Zoom, just like you guys will be doing it on Zoom. It'll be fun.
That'd be fabulous.
Yeah.
Be fabulous.
Yeah.
Any other questions from anyone? I think I've got from Becky Lund. Do you think there will be additional future advanced classes or any interest in formalizing an accompanying art workshop like the informal one done in Mapping Mavericks?
Oh, yeah. Okay, guys. So if you belong to Mapping Mavericks, we have a lot of side things going on. One of the things that we have going on is one of our members is an art instructor. She's an amazing artist. She teaches art at a couple of architectural University. She teaches art to architects. She's amazing. And so she has been providing free art classes for us. And these are on Mavericks. We've had our first one already, and she's setting up a number of these so that people can learn better how to draw, how to get different perspectives in their drawing. And guys, I need this as well as anybody else. I'm a terrible artist. So her work has actually helped me increase my art ability very slightly because I'm terrible. But so we have all these kinds of cool things going on in Mavericks. And yes, these kinds of things will continue. We have a lot going on. Like so this past weekend, we had, there was in San Francisco, they had the UAP hackathon. It was held on the Hornet, a military ship, huge ship. And they had all of these young programmers that were meeting, and they wanted psionics teams. And so I sent 4 of my people to the Hornet for this UAP hackathon, including Jen, John Knowles, who is my main analyst in Mapping Mavericks, and he has written multiple books on remote viewing. He was with my group almost 30 years ago, and is with me today. He's amazing. Everybody in remote viewing knows him. He's really cool, but he is all in on transdimensional mapping now. And we also had Eric, who is in my operational group, one of my top remote viewers, and we had another man, Leo, who's also in Mapping Mavericks. So these guys all went and they connected with all of these cool people at this hackathon, and were able to share important information about remote viewing, and also able to assist in the sky watches where people did see orbs and other lights in the sky, and took photos. So in Mapping Mavericks, there's all kinds of cool opportunities, guys. So come on and join us. We're changing the world, guys. We're changing the world.
Now, Birdie, do you want to say a word about the course in Taos coming up next weekend?
Yes. Okay, guys.
I'll put the link in the chat, everyone.
Yeah, so next weekend, we're starting Thursday evening, and we're going through Sunday at noon. And it's called the Taos Stargate. And what we're doing is I'm going to be teaching particular techniques that you guys haven't learned yet. Even if you took the January class, you haven't learned a lot of this stuff. I'm going to be teaching how we can haul down the orbs, the ships, call them in, just like Jake Barber is doing. I'm going to bring a bunch of equipment. I'm bringing a bunch of my EEG devices and some of my other equipment you guys can all try out. And we're going to essentially learn how to communicate with the ETs and bring them down. Now, Taos has the most incredible energy ever. The dark skies there are uncompared. We're going to be able to see the Milky Way. It's going to be so cool. So I hope that you can join us. I know we have a few spaces left for this. So, we're going to have a few members of my team are going to be there. Jen is going to be there. Eric, who I mentioned before, he is one of my top remote viewers ever. He was the only person. I taught him transdimensional mapping before anyone. I taught him 5 years ago. I met him in Roswell at the Roswell UFO Festival right before COVID hit. And it was funny. We were standing in line for the UFO museum, and Eric, and so this guy, a young guy, he says, we're just talking about UFO stuff. And he says to me, "Have you ever heard about remote viewing?" Just started laughing. I couldn't stop laughing. And he said, "Have you heard of the Farsight Institute?" Guys, I was the vice president of Farsight. I lost it laughing. And I'm like, Eric, I told him, "Hey, that's me. This is what I do." And so he is the first person to ever be trained in transdimensional mapping. And he is going to be at Taos. So he is amazing. So you guys will get to meet him if you come. And you'll get to meet Jen, who everyone calls General Lee, because she is, she runs a tight ship. and she is one of my best mappers too. She's amazing. So we're going to have those guys. And we have a few members from my UFO group that are also coming. And so they've known me for a few years. And so we're going to have just a really cool experience. And I hope you guys come along and join us, because it's going to be life-changing. I know for me, it's going to be life-changing. So I know it'll be life-changing for you guys too.
Good. And I just put the link to the Tau Stargate program in the chat. And then that may... Oh, anonymous, someone's asking about the distinction between registration and academic credit. Yeah, the registration is what you pay for the course, and we charge by the credit. So, for example, the one-day courses are 1 credit, so you pay $1.99. The 5-day courses are 4 credit, so that's why we charge $7.99. So everything is like Legos. It's very simply done, and you do 5 4-credit courses for 20 credits total. And that makes you eligible for the master's and PhD degree program. You can also take the ET Studies program in terms of some of the transdimensional mapping courses, some of the courses that we're hosting. For example, right now we have a course with Chris Bledsoe, and he's going to be doing his final lecture tomorrow, actually. And you all know Chris Bledsoe. He may be the most studied experiencer in the world. And then that's followed by courses. So each month, every 6 weeks, we're offering courses in the general domain of ET studies. So after Chris, we have Barbara Lamb. And Barbara Lamb is a very well-known Jungian analyst. She's done thousands of regression sessions. She's a specialist in regression therapy with a specialty in people who've had experiences with non-human intelligences. And she's going to be offering a course on, what she calls walk-ins, hybrids, star people, because her experience of this phenomenon is that it affects humans in different ways. Some people are just abducted up and then put right back down. Others are integrated into hybrid programs. It's a very, very fascinating dimension of who it is that we are learning to deal with through Birdie's courses. She teaches the technique, and someone like Barbara Lamb has a whole data bank on what people actually experience when they make contact. So that's one example. And then we're going to have a course with Linda White and a colleague on how to deal with the trauma of ET contact. Many people have deep experiences, but because their family or their community don't honor the experience, they repress it, and it gets distorted, and they go through kind of post-traumatic stress disorder. So that's another aspect of this domain. So as you enter our ET Studies program, most importantly, we want you to learn remote viewing so you can have intelligible communication with the ETs, but we're also offering other courses. And all you have to do to be eligible for our master's or PhD is to take a total of 20 credits. Any way you want to put them all together. Although if you want to get a certification in transdimensional mapping, you have to take all 5 of Birdie's 5-day, 8-hour-a-day courses, because that gives you a certification in remote viewing, and that's like a professional license, as it were. And so, but all this information is on the website. So let's see. I think that may do it, Birdie. Anything you want to say?
I'm just super
Maybe.
excited. I'm just super excited to meet you guys next week in Taos and to see you guys in the May class. I think that what we're doing is transformational for humanity. I think this is really important work. And right now, you can only get this through Ubiquity University. This is where all this is happening right now. It's pretty amazing. So the ET Studies program is revolutionary out there. We are at a point in our journey in humanity where we are having to make decisions about who we want to be, who we want to connect with. And we have opportunities now to connect with some beautiful intelligences that can help guide us as we move through this kind of difficult period in our lives. We're having to deal with questions about how much we want to embrace technology in our lives. We're having to deal with questions about resources. I mean, there's a lot of resource hoarding. This is like one of my big things here that I don't like. We've got, the haves and the have-nots. Most of us are in the have-nots, right? And so these are things that we can solve as a species, and we need a little bit of help. And so what we're doing here at Ubiquity is giving people means to get that help. So I'm super excited about the future and what we're doing here. And thanks to Jim. Thanks to Jim and Katie and Jaworski at Ubiquity for putting all this together. I am just so happy with everything going on here today. So thank you.
Thank you, Birdie. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today. If you have any additional questions, be in touch with Birdie, be in touch with me. I'm at jgarrison@ubiquityuniversity.org. You can also contact us through the contact forms you'll see on the website. The course again is May 14th through 18th. And we're having some technical challenges today that should be resolved sometime this evening as we're making some update technology changes on our website. So you can't register at the moment, but you will, I'm sure, by later this evening or tomorrow. So
hey, we need to do technology transfer on this website.
That's right. That's right. We may give you a call.
Exactly. Guys, I can't wait to see you guys either online or in person. Hopefully in person next week at the Taos event. That's going to be amazing. I will take lots of photos and videos and give a full report to everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye for now.
Okay, love you all.
Bye.
Bye.